Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive on SAP Datasphere,
Yeah,
which is sometimes being called the next generation of SAP Data Warehouse Cloud.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so we're using excerpts from the book Introducing SAP Datasphere by Geetha Maturi-Babali
Okay,
for this deep dive.
that's good.
And this is really all about helping you understand
Yeah,
SAP Datasphere, so what it can do and how its features can be applied to your business.
right. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, so what exactly is SAP Datasphere?
So it's basically a one-stop shop for all your data management tasks.
Okay.
Think of it as a central hub that connects all your data,
Right.
regardless of where it lives.
Okay.
So SAP systems, non-SAP systems, you name it.
Gotcha.
And it's not just about bringing data together, it's about making that data work for you.
Right.
SAP Datasphere is built on this really cool concept called a business data fabric.
Business data fabric. That sounds pretty neat.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean?
So what's fascinating here is that a business data fabric goes beyond just connecting data.
Okay.
It's about weaving all that data together into a seamless and intelligent whole.
Okay, so weaving data together,
Yeah.
that still sounds pretty abstract.
Okay.
Can you give me a more concrete example of how this actually works in a real business setting?
Absolutely. Imagine you're a company with separate sales, marketing, and finance departments, each working with its own set of data.
Okay, yeah.
Traditionally, this data might be siloed, making it difficult to get a complete picture of what's happening.
Right, makes sense.
But with SAP Datasphere's business data fabric, those silos break down.
Okay,
Sales can share customer data with marketing for targeted campaigns, while finance can access sales figures to track revenue and profitability.
gotcha.
It's all about collaboration without compromising data security.
So how does SAP Datasphere actually achieve this secure collaboration?
So the book mentions something called spaces.
Spaces.
Spaces are like secure virtual workspaces within SAP Datasphere.
Hmm.
You can think of them as separate rooms for different departments or projects,
Mm-hmm.
each with its own set of data and access controls.
So going back to our example,
Yeah.
sales, marketing, and finance would each have their own space to manage their data.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really interesting. If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
spaces aren't just about isolation, they're also about controlled sharing.
Right.
So for instance, the sales team could share specific customer data with marketing without giving them access to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a great way to balance security and collaboration.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about how these spaces are actually managed.
Okay.
Is it a complicated process?
Not at all. Creating a space is super simple. Just give it a name and ID, and you're good to go.
Okay.
And SAP Datasphere gives you all the tools you need to manage these spaces effectively.
So it's like having a custom tailored data suite
Yeah,
for each department.
exactly.
Now, what if a department suddenly needs more storage? Can they adjust that on the fly?
Absolutely. You can adjust space quotas dynamically.
Okay.
And if a space accidentally exceeds its storage limit,
Uh-huh.
the system intelligently locks it to prevent any issues.
Okay, so it's like having a safety net to prevent data overload.
Right.
But what if it's a genuine emergency and they need to access that data urgently?
No worries.
Okay,
Space administrators can unlock the space temporarily,
gotcha.
providing a grace period to make necessary adjustments.
This is all sounding pretty good so far.
Yeah.
We've talked about how SAP Datasphere connects data from different sources
Uh-huh.
and how it uses spaces to organize and manage that data securely.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious about how you actually get data into SAP Datasphere.
Okay.
The book mentions something called connections.
So connections are essentially the bridges that link SAP Datasphere to your various source systems.
Yep.
Whether it's your core SAP systems like S/4HANA or even non-SAP systems.
Gotcha, so it can connect to anything.
Yeah,
right?
think of connections like pipelines that carry data into the platform. Once you set up these connections, you can start pulling in all sorts of data.
So it's like creating a data superhighway.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you have the connection set up,
Yeah.
how do you actually bring the data in? Is it a complicated process?
That's where the data builder comes in.
Right.
It's one of the key tools within SAP Datasphere,
Uh-huh.
and it's specifically designed to help you build your data foundation.
Okay.
The data builder allows you to import all sorts of data,
Okay.
master data, transactional data, metadata from various sources.
Okay.
You can import tables, directly replicate data for better performance, or even transform data as it flows into the platform.
Okay, transformation sounds interesting.
Mhm.
Can you give me an example of how that might work in practice?
Imagine you have sales data in one system and customer data in another, and those systems store data in slightly different formats.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that happen.
Transformations allow you to standardize that data,
Uh-huh.
making it consistent and ready for analysis.
That makes a lot of sense. I've definitely run into data inconsistencies in the past, and it can be a real headache.
Absolutely. And the data builder offers different ways to acquire and transform your data.
Okay.
You have remote tables for directly importing tables from the source system.
Uh-huh.
Then there are local tables, which are created within SAP Datasphere.
Gotcha.
And you can even import data from CSV files.
CSV file. So if I have data in a spreadsheet,
Yeah,
I can just upload it to SAP Datasphere.
you got it.
Wow.
It's super easy.
Okay.
Just upload the file, adjust a few settings, and you're good to go.
That sounds incredibly convenient. Now, you also mentioned something about replication flows earlier.
Yeah.
What are those all about?
Replication flows are all about efficiency and keeping your data up to date.
Okay.
They allow you to copy data from your source systems into SAP Datasphere on a regular schedule, ensuring that your data is always in sync.
So it's like having a live feed of data
Exactly.
constantly flowing into SAP Datasphere.
Yeah,
That's essential for real-time analytics and decision-making.
exactly. And to add even more flexibility, you have transformation flows, which allow you to apply transformations to your data as it's being copied.
So with transformation flows,
Yes.
you can join tables, filter data aggregate values, even rename columns,
Exactly.
all while the data is being replicated.
That's right.
It's like having a data assembly line that cleans, shapes, and organizes your data as it moves along.
I like that analogy.
This is all starting to sound really powerful.
Yeah.
We've talked about connecting to data sources, acquiring data, and even transforming it.
Yeah.
But before we move on, can you explain how SAP Datasphere handles large volumes of data?
Oh.
Does it slow down when dealing with massive data sets?
That's a great question. SAP Datasphere is designed to handle even the largest data sets without compromising performance.
Okay.
And one of the key features that makes this possible is data tiering optimization, or DTO.
DTO, that sounds pretty technical. Can you explain it in simpler terms?
Well, think about how you organize files on your computer.
Okay. You probably keep your most frequently used files on your desktop for quick access, while less frequently used files are tucked away in folders.
Yeah.
DTO works in a similar way.
Okay.
It automatically stores your frequently used data, your hot data, in a way that allows for lightning-fast access.
And what about data you don't use as often?
Less frequently used data, your warm data, is still readily available, but stored more cost-effectively.
Okay.
It's like keeping files in your documents folder. You can still access them when you need them, but they don't need to be on your desktop.
Makes sense. And what about the data you rarely access, your archive data?
That's your cold data, and SAP Datasphere stores that in a highly cost-effective way,
Okay.
similar to how you might store old photos and files on an external hard drive.
So DTO is like having an intelligent data valet that automatically parks your data in the most efficient way possible.
Precisely. It ensures that you have the right data at the right speed at the right cost.
Wow. And the best part is it happens automatically in the background, so you don't have to worry about managing it.
So it's like having a data management system that works behind the scenes,
Yeah.
optimizing performance and efficiency.
Exactly.
You can focus on analyzing your data and deriving insights while SAP Datasphere takes care of the heavy lifting.
Right.
This is all starting to paint a really compelling picture of SAP Datasphere.
Yeah.
We've covered connecting to data sources, managing data in spaces, acquiring data, applying transformations, and even optimizing data storage for performance.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
Now, I'm curious about how you actually prepare and model that data to extract meaningful insights.
Okay.
What tools and techniques does SAP Datasphere offer for whipping our data into shape?
That's where data preparation and modeling come in.
Okay.
And for that, we'll need to dive deeper into the data builder and explore its arsenal of tools.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get my hands dirty with data preparation and modeling in SAP Datasphere.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome back.
All right.
When we left off, we were about to dive into the data builder
Right.
and its data preparation and modeling tools.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to get my hands dirty with data modeling.
Okay.
You mentioned something called semantic usage last time. Can you refresh my memory on what that's all about?
Semantic usage is all about giving your data meaning and context. It's like labeling ingredients in a recipe.
Okay.
So instead of just having columns and rows of data, we're telling SAP Datasphere how those elements relate to each other and what kind of analysis we want to perform.
So we're adding a layer of business logic
Exactly.
on top of the raw data.
Yep.
That makes it much easier to understand and analyze.
Precisely. And SAP Datasphere provides different semantic usage types to choose from. Like dimension fact, text hierarchy, and hierarchy with directory.
Hierarchy.
Yeah.
So we can organize our data into hierarchical structures.
Right.
Like an organizational chart or a family tree.
You got it. Hierarchies let you represent data at different levels of detail.
Okay.
For example, you could have a product hierarchy with product category at the top level, then product subcategory, and finally individual product.
That's really helpful for drilling down into data during analysis.
Exactly.
And what about hierarchy with directory? What's that for?
Hierarchy with directory allows you to manage multiple hierarchies within a single entity.
Okay.
So you could have a product hierarchy based on categories and a separate hierarchy based on geographical regions.
That's incredibly flexible. Now, what about text semantic usage?
Text is specifically designed for handling multilingual data. It's like having a translation table for your data.
Okay.
So if you have a product name in English, you can also store its equivalent in Spanish, French, German, and so on.
Exactly. It's essential for global businesses that need to analyze and report on data in multiple languages.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about giving our data meaning and structure with semantic usage. Now, how do we actually build those sophisticated data models? You mentioned analytic models earlier.
Analytic models are where we bring together facts and dimensions to create data sets that are ready for analysis in reporting and visualization tools.
That's like assembling the ingredients for a delicious data feast.
I like that.
We're taking our prepared ingredients, the facts and dimensions, and arranging them into a recipe for analysis.
Precisely.
So how do we create these analytic models in SAP Datasphere?
It's all done within the data builder.
Okay.
You select a fact entity as your foundation, and then you start adding associated dimensions.
Okay.
For example, you might have a sales fact table with measures like revenue and quantity sold. You could then associate it with dimensions like customer product and time.
So you're creating a multi-dimensional view of your data.
Exactly.
Connecting the dots between different entities.
Right, and you have a lot of flexibility in defining these models. You can choose which attributes and measures to include, create calculated measures, apply filters, and even define variables.
Variables, what are those?
Variables allow users to interact with the data and customize their analysis.
Okay.
For example, you could have a variable for year that lets users select a specific year to analyze.
Gotcha.
Or you could have a variable for region that filters the data by geographical region.
That's awesome. It puts the power of analysis directly into the hands of the users.
Precisely.
And once you have your analytic model defined, it's ready to be used in reporting tools like SAP Analytics Cloud.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered semantic usage and analytic models in the data builder. You also mentioned something called the business builder earlier. How does that fit into the data modeling picture?
The business builder is like the next level of data modeling. It's designed for business users who want to create reusable business models and simplify complex data concepts.
Reusable business models, what's the advantage of that?
Imagine you have different teams working with the same data, but they each need a slightly different perspective.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of creating separate models from scratch, you can create reusable models in the business builder that can be tailored to specific needs.
That eliminates a lot of redundancy and ensures consistency across the organization.
Exactly. And the business builder uses business-friendly terminology, making it easier for non-technical users to understand and work with the data.
So no more confusing tech jargon. What kind of models can you create in the business builder?
You have business entities, which can be either dimensions or facts, just like in the data builder. But you also have fact models and consumption models.
Okay, break those down for me.
Fact models are like templates or blueprints for building analytical models.
Okay.
They allow you to predefine measures, attributes, and filters that can be reused across multiple models.
Instead of starting from scratch each time, you have a pre-built framework to work with.
Precisely. And consumption models are designed for specific analytical needs.
Okay.
They combine measures and attributes from various sources and create tailored models for different use cases.
So it's like creating a custom dashboard or report, pulling in the relevant data and organizing it in a way that's easy to understand and analyze.
You've got it. And the Business Builder also lets you define authorization scenarios to add another layer of control.
Authorization scenarios, didn't we already talk about data access controls earlier?
We did data access controls work at the row level, controlling who can see what data. Authorization scenarios operate at a broader level, controlling access to entire business entities or models.
Okay.
So you could have an authorization scenario that restricts access to financial data.
Gotcha.
To only authorized users in the finance department.
Exactly. It's all about ensuring that the right people have access to the right data.
Right.
This is incredibly powerful. We've gone from preparing and modeling data to securing it with fine-grained control.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious about how we actually UAs this data, how we turn it into actionable insights.
That's where data consumption comes in.
Okay.
And that's where tools like SAP Analytics Cloud really shine.
Okay. I'm excited to hear more about SAP Analytics Cloud and how it integrates with SAP Datasphere.
Yeah, me too.
Welcome back to our deep dive into SAP Datasphere.
Glad to be back.
We left off talking about how to actually use all this carefully prepared data, turning it into something that can drive real business decisions.
Yeah.
I think this is what we've all been waiting for.
Absolutely. And that's where data consumption comes in. SAP Datasphere integrates seamlessly with tools like SAP Analytics Cloud, giving you the power to turn data into actionable insights.
You mentioned SAP Analytics Cloud, or SAC, in the last part.
Yes.
I love visualizations and dashboards, so I'm all ears.
So what's fascinating about SAC is that it's not just about charts and graphs. It's about storytelling. You can weave together data points, charts, and narratives to create compelling presentations that communicate insights in a way that everyone can understand.
Data storytelling.
Yeah.
That sounds much more engaging than just staring at spreadsheets all day.
It definitely is. SAT lets you turn your data analysis into a captivating story, making it easier for everyone to grasp the key takeaways.
So how do you connect SAP Datasphere to SAC?
It's surprisingly simple. Within SAC, you just create a new connection, choose SAP Datasphere as your source, enter your credentials, and select the space you want to connect to.
And then you can start building those amazing visualizations and dashboards.
You got it. SAC has a ton of visualization options, bar charts, line charts, pie charts, maps, you name it.
Wow.
And you can drag and drop fields from your SAP Datasphere models, apply filters, and customize everything to your liking.
So it's like having a data artist's toolkit at your fingertips. And what about those interactive dashboards? What makes them so special?
Dashboards in SAC are all about bringing your data to life. You can combine multiple visualizations, create interactive filters, and design a dynamic layout that tells a complete story.
So instead of static charts, you have a dashboard that reacts to user input and reveals deeper insights as you explore the data.
Exactly. And the best part is it's all real time.
No, wow.
As your data in SAP Datasphere updates, your dashboards in SAC reflect those changes immediately.
That's essential for making quick decisions. No more waiting for reports to be generated.
Right.
Now, those data stories you mentioned earlier have me really intrigued. Could you paint me a picture of how that might look in a real-world scenario?
Imagine you're analyzing sales performance. You could create a story in SC that starts with an overview of total revenue and then drills down into regional performance, product breakdowns, and even customer segmentation.
Good.
And you can add text, images, and even voice narration to make it a truly immersive experience for your audience.
It's like creating a guided tour through your data.
Exactly.
Highlighting the key insights along the way.
Precisely. It's a powerful way to communicate complex data in a way that everyone can understand.
This is all sounding fantastic.
Yeah.
SAC seems like an amazing tool for data consumption. But what if you're using other tools like Microsoft Excel or Power BI?
Yeah.
Can you still access data from SAP Datasphere?
Absolutely. SAP Datasphere is built for open connectivity. Which means you can access its data from a wide variety of third-party tools.
So it doesn't matter what your preferred tool set is?
No, it does.
You can still leverage the power of SAP Datasphere.
Exactly. SAP Datasphere supports open standards like OData and ODBC, which are widely used for data exchange. This allows you to connect to its data from tools like Excel, Power BI, Tableau, pretty much any tool that supports these standards.
That's great news for people who are already comfortable working with their existing tools.
Or for those who prefer a more code-centric approach, SAP Datasphere also provides APIs that developers can use to programmatically access and manipulate data.
So developers can build custom applications and integrations that leverage the rich data in SAP Datasphere.
Right. The possibilities are truly endless.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
And I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed with SAP Datasphere.
Me too.
It's a comprehensive platform that empowers businesses to make data-driven decisions with confidence.
It really is a game changer for modern data management and analytics.
So what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember from this deep dive?
If you're looking to harness the full potential of your data, whether it's from SAP systems or not, and gain a real competitive edge, SAP Datasphere is the platform you need. Its unified approach empowers everyone in your organization to work together and make smarter data-driven decisions.
Well said. Thank you so much for guiding me through this deep dive into SAP Datasphere.
You're welcome.
I'm sure our listeners are now excited to explore SAP Datasphere further.
I hope so.
And to our listeners, if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, reach out to us with your questions. We're always here to help you navigate the world of data. Until next time, happy data diving.